Okay, so picture this. A marriage that looks perfect on the outside, a really close mother-daughter relationship, and then um, a betrayal that just shatters everything, leading to murder.
It's truly shocking. Today we're diving into the case of Alice and Adrienne Harris.
Right. It's a tragic story, and we're piecing it together based on accounts of what happened.
And the goal here isn't just to recount the events, but to try and understand, well, the layers, what pressures, what secrets were really at play.
Let's set the scene. We're in Austin, Texas. Alice is 35, an elementary school teacher. She seems to have this great life with her husband, Adrian. He's an attorney.
2 young kids as well, Elliot, Date, and Molly, 5, living in a nice suburban home. It really paints a picture, doesn't it?
Totally. A picture of, contentment.
And the background adds to that. They met in college, married pretty quickly. It feels very planned, very deliberate.
Yeah, and Alice was apparently quite proud of their relationship, believed they could handle anything together. That kind of strength.
But then things started to shift, subtly at first.
Alice began noticing Adrian wasn't quite himself. He was working late more often, maybe less engaged when he was home.
A different mood, maybe? Bit more distant?
Yeah, just preoccupied, creating a bit of space between them.
And initially you'd think, okay, work stress, right? He was a lead attorney in corporate affairs, apparently a demanding job.
That's what Alice thought too. It's the logical explanation, isn't it? You try to find a reason that makes sense, that doesn't rock the boat.
Absolutely. But it wasn't just a phase. This distance, it's stuck around.
And then came the phone thing. Adrian started being really protective of his phone, which wasn't like him.
Ooh, that's always a red flag, isn't it? That secrecy.
Definitely. And for Alice, it must have just fueled her anxiety, that internal battle of, do I want to know? What if it's something awful? Versus, I need to know.
Did she try talking to him about it?
Yeah, she did. But he apparently just brushed it off, reassured her everything was fine, probably just work stuff.
Which probably didn't help much if his actions weren't matching his words. Likely just made her more suspicious, you know?
Right. And during this time, she was leaning on her mother, Claire. Her mom had moved to Austin. They were super close, talked all the time.
So Alice really trusted her mom, confided in her.
Exactly. She was relying on that support.
Even with all these signs, though, Alice still hoped it was just temporary. A rough patch they'd get through.
It's understandable. You want to believe in the life you've built, right? Especially with kids involved. But that feeling, that dissonance between the happy family image and her gut feeling, it must have been tough.
Immense pressure, and then the moment it all broke open.
Yeah. Adrian left for work early one morning. Left his phone behind on the kitchen table.
Oh, wow. Accidental.
Seems like it.
Yeah.
And then a message notification lights up the screen. The sender was her mother, Claire. And the preview text said something like, I can't wait to see you again.
Oh my God, from her mother to her husband?
Exactly. Suddenly that close, confidant relationship looks very different.
That must have just hit her like a ton of bricks. And their phones weren't password protected?
Apparently not. Which speaks to maybe a past level of trust. Or maybe just convenience, who knows. But it meant Alice could look.
And she did.
She did. And what she found just confirmed her worst fears. Months and months of messages.
Not just casual chat.
No. Intimate messages. Passionate language, talking about secret meetings, suggestive comments. The whole thing. An affair between her husband and her mother.
Unbelievable. The source mentioned a specific message too, didn't it?
Yeah, something like, you're so cautious, no one will ever know, it'll stay just between us.
Wow. That shows the active cover-up, the conspiracy almost. It wasn't just a fling. They were deliberately hiding it.
Which makes the betrayal even deeper, right? It's not just the
Yes.
affair itself, but the planned deception.
Absolutely devastating. A double betrayal. The person you married and your own mother. The violation of that mother-daughter bond. It's just...
Yeah. The pain must have been incredible. Shock, disbelief, then probably this desperate need to understand just how deep it went.
So what did she do? Confront them immediately?
Not right away. She actually decided to gather more evidence to keep acting normal on the outside.
Wow, that takes incredible strength. Or maybe just shock.
Maybe a bit of both. She started checking Adrian's phone when he was asleep, trying to piece together the whole story, understand the extent of it.
Well, pretending everything was okay. That's intense.
And she started pulling away from her mother, too. Avoided her calls, made excuses. The source even says Alice felt like Claire suspected something was up.
You can imagine the tension there, a shift in their dynamic, even unspoken.
Okay, so fast forward a bit. July 14th, 2023. The atmosphere in that house must have been thick with unspoken tension.
Absolutely. Alice knows. Adrienne probably senses something's wrong with Alice. Even if he doesn't know, she knows everything, just simmering beneath the surface.
That evening, they have dinner, kids are there, Adrienne's reading the news, like any other night.
But it wasn't any other night, was it? That gap between the outward appearance and the reality. Just agonizing.
So after the kids went to bed, Alice decided it was time. She confronted him. Calmly, apparently, but very firmly. Just said, we need to talk.
And Adrienne?
Tried to play dumb at first, like, what's wrong?
Standard denial tactic.
But Alice didn't let him. She just came right out with it. I know everything, Adrienne. I know about you and my mother.
Just laid it out there. How did he react?
He apparently went pale, dropped his tablet, complete shock, tried to deny it again, make excuses.
But she wasn't having it.
No. She told him she'd seen all the messages, cut him off. And she just turned away, went outside to get some air, tried to compose herself, I guess.
Leaving Adrienne there, realizing the game was up, his whole world was about to collapse.
Exactly. The fear must have been immense. Losing his marriage, his family, his reputation, his career, potentially. Just total panic.
In that panic,
Yeah.
it led to something terrible.
He followed her outside. And then, without warning, he grabbed her by the throat and strangled her.
Oh, God. Just like that. No more argument. Just violence.
Just violence. She struggled, realized what was happening, that he actually meant to kill her. She couldn't stop him.
He just snapped. The fear turned deadly.
And then he was just standing there, over her body. The finality of it must have hit him.
What did he do then?
We don't know exactly what happened immediately after, but the police arrived the next morning, July 15th. A neighbor had called, reported something wasn't right.
And they found Adrienne.
Yeah. Detective Jessica Miller arrived, found Adrienne on the porch, looking disheveled, nervous.
What was his story?
He claimed he'd just woken up and found Alice dead in the backyard.
Right, a story that Detective Miller probably saw through pretty quickly.
You'd think so. Her suspicion was raised immediately. The investigation started methodically.
What did the scene look like?
Alice's body showed clear signs of strangulation. But crucially, there weren't many signs of a big struggle around her, which maybe didn't quite fit with a random attack.
Interesting. So they questioned Adrienne more.
Of course. His answers were brief. He avoided eye contact. Classic signs of deception, often. He stuck to his story about being asleep inside.
Which didn't align with the physical evidence suggesting she was killed right there.
Exactly. They talked to neighbors too, but not much help initially. Some heard muffled voices, maybe an argument, but nothing that sounded overtly alarming at the time.
These things often happen behind closed doors, don't they? It's hard for outsiders to know.
For sure. But then came the breakthrough. Detective Miller learned that Alice had confided in a friend.
Ah, the friend Marie.
Yes. Alice had told Marie about the problems, about Adrienne having an affair, specifically with her mother.
Wow. Okay, that changes everything. That provides a motive.
Absolutely. Marie confirmed Alice knew, confirmed how betrayed Alice felt. Suddenly, this isn't a random tragedy.
No, the focus shifts squarely onto Adrienne. Fear of exposure becomes a very strong potential motive.
And that led them straight to Alice's phone.
Where they'd find the messages.
Exactly. The messages between Alice and Claire. Proof of the affair, proof Claire knew and was pleading for secrecy.
Okay, so now they have motive. They have evidence of the secret. That's enough to arrest him, surely.
Pretty much. The motive fear of exposure destroying his life was clear. And then the forensics came back.
What did they find?
Traces on Adrienne's clothing matched traces found on Alice's body. It directly placed him there with her, contradicting his alibi about being asleep inside.
So his story completely falls apart. What about Claire, the mother? Did they question her?
Oh, yeah. Her reaction was initially described as shock, but Detective Miller, knowing about the affair, probably sensed some underlying tension, maybe some defensiveness.
Did she admit to the affair?
Eventually, yes. She admitted the affair happened, but claimed she had no idea Adrienne would do something violent.
Right.
Basically, trying to distance herself from the murder itself.
A complicated position for her, involved in the betrayal, but maybe not the violence.
Right. So with all this evidence, the messages, the friend's testimony, the forensics, the motive, they interrogated Adrienne again.
Must have been intense.
Reports say he looked exhausted, like the pressure was getting to him. Detective Miller laid out all the evidence, the affair, his presence near Alice when she died.
And he finally cracked.
He gave a partial confession. Admitted Alice had found the messages, that they argued, that she threatened to tell everyone.
So he admits the confrontation?
Yes. He claimed he just lost control in that moment and strangled her.
A heat-of-the-moment defense, perhaps?
That's what he claimed. He also admitted that after he did it, he walked away, went inside, and then pretended to discover her body in the morning.
Wow, the calculation in that, even after supposedly losing control, staging the scene.
It's chilling, but that confession, even if partial or self-serving, basically solidified the case.
And then it went public, media coverage.
Oh, massively. A story like this, betrayal, family secrets, murder, it captures public attention. The trial followed.
Prosecution must have had a strong case. Confession, messages, forensics.
Pretty much laid it all out. The defense tried to argue it was emotional distress, a moment of lost control, not premeditated murder.
But the jury?
They didn't buy the loss of control narrative enough to significantly reduce the charge, it seems. Adrienne Harris was found guilty.
And the sentence?
55 years in prison, without the possibility of parole.
So justice served in the legal sense, but the cost?
Yeah, an incredibly high cost. Alice dead, children lose both parents effectively, a family destroyed.
This whole deep dive, it just underscores the sheer tragedy of it all, doesn't it? How trust can be so profoundly broken.
It really does. The ripple effects of that betrayal were just catastrophic.
It makes you think about relationships, about trust, and I guess the breaking points people can reach when their lives start to unravel.
Yeah, what hidden pressures, what secrets are lurking under the surface sometimes? It leaves you, the listener, maybe wondering, what are those unseen vulnerabilities within seemingly ordinary lives that can, under the worst circumstances, lead to such extreme, devastating actions?
A sobering thought. It really highlights the fragility of those family bonds we often take for granted.